I hate jokers in every sense of the word. Okay, I want to tell you a true story. Which I just made up. There were, I don't know if it's a full deck, doesn't have to be. The gamblers and magicians have always argued or discussed among themselves who is the better card manipulator. There's good reason for those discussions, good reason for those arguments. One of the reasons is that a gambler is a very frustrated person. He or she is a very frustrated person. Well, for example, if you went over to a card table and saw a guy doing this, you're not going to play cards with him, right? So he can't do that. He can't show off his skill. Whereas a magician, everything a magician does is show off stuff. That's all it is. That's one reason. There's another reason that's really much more to the point, and that is that if a gambler makes a mistake, he can get killed. And it's kind of final. Whereas if a magician makes a mistake, what's the worst that can happen? He won't get paid, you know, it's the worst that can happen. So that's why I want to tell you this story, because what happened, the best gambler in the world and the best magician in the world got together socially one day, and they got into the same discussion. Who's the best card manipulator in the world? As a matter of fact, after a couple of drinks, it was no longer a discussion. It became a hot argument. And the gambler turned to the magician and he said, look, buddy, I will bet you $1 million that you cannot take this deck, shuffle it, cut it any way you like, turn over the top card, do that 4 times and get 4 of a kind. I'll bet you $1 million you can't do that. The magician said, you know, buddy, I'll take you up on that on one condition, and that is that you let me cut the deck once, twice, 3 times each time. Then I will turn over the top card. I'll do that 4 times, and I'll cut 4 of a kind. The gambler said, you know something, I don't care if you cut them 39 times. You got to bet. Magician said, okay, reached into his pocket, took out $1 million, which is funny right away to find a magician with $1 million in his pocket. And he said, now remember, I have to cut the deck once, twice, 3 times, which he did. He felt the top card and he said, yep, I think I've got a queen. He said, I'm going to go for the queens. But remember, I must always cut the deck once, twice, 3 times, which he did. He felt the top card and he said, yep, I think I've got queen number 2. And he did. He had the queen, another queen. He said, remember, I must always cut the deck once, twice, 3 times. He felt the top card. He said, yep, I've got queen number 3, and he did. Of course, the gambler was getting very nervous. It was too late. He couldn't do anything because the magician cut the deck once, twice, 3 times. He felt the top card and he said, yep, I've got queen up. Whoops. He goofed. Well, the gambler grabbed for the money. The magician said, wait, hey, fella, hold it. We didn't bet $1 million that I have to cut the 4 queens necessarily. The bet was that I have to cut 4 of a kind, any 4 of a kind. So before you grab the money, act as a committee of 1 for me. Would you actually turn over those 3 queens on the table so everybody can see them, please? Right. And of course, no, hold it. Of course, the gambler won the bet. The magician, of course, won the bet. But what he said afterwards to the gambler is, you know, he said, I don't understand why you thought I had the 4 queens there. I couldn't possibly have had the queens because, look, I always keep 1 queen here in this pocket. He said, I couldn't possibly have had the queens because I always keep 1 queen right here in my back pocket. He said, I always keep 1 queen right here in my jacket. He said, and I can't understand why you thought I had the queens because I always keep 1 queen here in my wallet. That's something he couldn't understand. Because, thank you. I only do this at the end because I know you're all thinking there are 8 queens in this deck, and I just want to let you see that there aren't. Thanks again.